Hey everybody, how are you? Hello, hello, hello. I am doing a very early 5 at 5, but I wanted to come on and share with you because I had a few minutes. I hope that you have a few minutes to spend with me as well. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, Mary Durden 2015. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me. So today we are talking about why am I the only one who is still dealing with this? So what are my hashtags? Perspective, lessons, and no more. Those are very important keywords there. Hey. Those are very important keywords there because we are talking about the things that we are taking into the new year. This is New Year. So while we're sitting and doing our New Year's resolutions and deciding on what we're going to do and what we aren't going to do anymore, today we're talking about some things that will help put all of that in perspective that perhaps you haven't asked yourself in previous times. Now, when I share this out later on, it's going to be under the hashtag 5 at 5. The number 5, the word at, and then the number 5. You can always go back and watch my 5s at 5s that way if this is your first time. So who am I? As I give a few minutes for everyone to get into the room, my name is Dr. Angela Chester. I'm a pastoral counselor and a Christian empowerment coach in the beautiful cities of downtown Long Beach and Hampton, Virginia. And I happen to be in Virginia right now. As you guys know, it's been my prayer to be bi-coastal, and I am finally that. I'm a best-selling author. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I'm an entrepreneur. I am the host of Daily Spark with Dr. Angela on 99.1 FM Atlanta. Thank you guys that all tune in and support the show. So let's go on and get started. You want to know more about me? Simply visit drangela.chester.com. So why am I the only one dealing with this? Why am I the only one dealing with this? So there are 5 different ways, 5 different perspectives that you can take. Hello, DN31. Thank you for sharing your first day on Periscope with me. Welcome to the community. There are 5 different perspectives, if you will, that I want you to kind of use or take on this particular question that many times we ask ourselves, not only throughout the month or just at the beginning of the year, but throughout life. Why is this still happening to me? I don't understand what is going on. So the very first perspective or way that you can look at this is, number 1, you have a lack of experience in something. Now, this isn't to put you down. This isn't to say that you are less than in any way. You simply have a lack of experience in something. So if we think about it, when we were fresh out of high school, we had a lack of life experience. We had a lack of work experience. It may have been hard for some people to find a job because they didn't even have entry-level experience. It isn't something, that you should feel bad about. It just is. So for many people, this lack of experience, this needing to learn, a lack of experience can sometimes be the thing that is causing you not to advance. Now, why do I have to keep dealing with this? Whatever that topic is, this goes across the board. Why do I keep choosing bad relationships? Why do I keep choosing horrible schools? Why do I keep choosing bad cars? Whatever it is, why can't I seem to be employee of the month or whatever you're going through? We have to take time to self-assess. Now, I know you guys have heard me use that word before, and self-assess means that you're taking a moment to look at yourself, to ask yourself some really hard questions, to ask yourself some really important questions about yourself. So many times we are looking outward. So many times we're asking other people, so what's wrong with you? But we tend not to ask ourselves, so what's wrong with me? Sometimes, and I really hate to break it to you, but sometimes it's you. It is 1000% you. You are the person that is causing, fill in the blank, to happen, good and bad. So when we self-assess and we take a moment to ask ourselves these important questions, girl, break it down. Thank you. When we take a few moments to ask ourselves these important questions, we can become unstuck. And I want you to become unstuck for 2018. There is no reason for us to continue to take this baggage, be it that it is physical baggage, it is mental baggage, it is spiritual baggage. We've got to let this baggage go. So, number one is, do you have a lack of experience that you simply need to learn? Right. Food for thought. Great point. Because if we sit there, and you guys know what I say, we need to be able to ingest it. Right? So we need to have it on our plate to eat. So we need to ingest it, but then we need to digest it. So we need to get the nutrients. We need to get the information out of it, right? In order for us to actually utilize it. So we eat the food, we put the food in our mouths, we chew it, we digest it, we swallow it, we digest it, and then our bodies have fuel to go on and do whatever it is that we need to do. So we need to chew on this information, if you will, digest it, and then use it as fuel to go about your life from a different perspective and figure out which one of these things do I need to concentrate on in order to project myself, to propel myself to the next level. So one is a lack of experience. Do you simply need to learn something? And if you need to learn something, then that's cool. Go on and learn what it is that you need to learn. Go on and experience whatever it is that you need to experience so that you can go to the next step. Number two is, you broke it, you need to fix it, right? You broke it, you need to fix it. So what am I saying here? Sometimes life keeps repeating the lesson. Why? Because you keep breaking it. You're going along smooth, everything is fine, and then you get to that moment, much like clockwork, and your friends could probably even break it down for you, where you just slam head on into the wall. You just determine that you are going to derail this relationship. You are going to accuse that man. You are going to accuse that woman of doing stuff. You are going to start being MIA. You know what? It's all about the things that we think that we need, and perhaps one of these things is something that you need to do, because I truly believe that God is going to send us whomever it is that we need, that God places certain people along our path in order for us to learn the lessons that we need to learn. Sometimes he places people along our path to encourage us, to keep us going, to keep us motivated. And I know that that is one of the things that is a purpose of my life, that I am here to, and I say it on my show, I'm here to enlighten, empower, and encourage people. I'm here to make sure that people know there is a cheerleader for you. Someone that's saying you can do it. Let's just gather the resources that we need, and then let's take it to the next step. So number two is, you broke it, now fix it. You broke it, you need to fix it. Oh, you are so welcome. So what can you take away from number two? And that is, the lesson keeps getting repeated. The lesson keeps getting repeated. You will not be able to move on from where you are if you don't get the lesson that God is trying to give to you, that the universe is trying to put out there. Now, I know that I have a lot of people from different denominations that come on for my 5 at 5s, but I think you understand what I am saying. God tries to share with us certain things that we need to know in order to grow. Are your ears open? Are your eyes open? Is your heart open? Are you able to receive the lessons? Are you able to receive the blessings? Are you able to receive the favor in which is trying to be placed upon your life? So you broke it. Did you do something in your relationship? Did you do something on the job? Did you do something to your family members? Did you do something in your house of worship? Did you do something at one of your kids' organizations where you just showed your behind? You just acted up and you showed out, and it was horrible. It was just horrible. Did you do that? If you did it, then you need to fix it. You can't blame anybody else for it. You can't say it's because that lady said, that man did, they wouldn't let me, they couldn't. What you can control is your reaction to what people say and do to you. So if you showed up and you showed out, then it is time for you to fix and mend the problem. We have to start taking responsibilities for our own actions. If you are older than 20 years old, People are going to hold you accountable. If you are younger than 20, I hate to say it though, people are going to say, oh, but you just a child, you a baby, you don't know nothing, you a teenager, oh, whoa, and just kind of throw you over there and just excuse you and kind of dismiss you. But once you're 20, once you are officially 20 years old, life starts to change. You are a grown person. Even though I know 18 or 19 is usually the age of adulthood. But once you turn 20, people look at you differently. You're now like a college student, or you're working, you have your own apartment, or you're starting to experience life, and people start holding you accountable on a different level. If you are still experiencing some things, you're still breaking relationships, you're still breaking organizations, you're still breaking employment, and you know what I mean by breaking. You're not able to do something. You're not able to hold on to it. Thank you. You're not able to, every year you're looking for a new job because you just can't seem to stay employable because you know you have a bad attitude. You're breaking your workplace. Stop doing that. So you have to look at it. No. So you have to look at it and say, I keep breaking this. I need to fix it. And how do you fix it? You have to look inward and say, what is causing me to have these types of reactions? Why am I doing this? Right? Hello, Mito. Thank you so much for sharing your first day on Periscope with me. Welcome to the community. So if you look inward and you say, there's something going on with me. You know why you're angry. You know why you're hurt. You know why. Hello from Egypt. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me today. You know what has happened in your life that has caused you to feel and be this particular way. Did something happen to you when you were a child? Did something happen to you when you were a teenager? Were you in your early 20s and your parents have no idea that a particular thing happened to you, whatever it is, that a particular thing happened to you when you were off on a travel or something and you were 25 and you've never told a soul about it, but now your heart is broken, or your heart has become hardened, or now you have a certain view about a particular gender or about a particular ethnicity? Did something happen along the way? If you sit down and you are quiet and still and you ask God to reveal these things to you, you will start to have a certain understanding of what's happening in your life. If you have been through any type of trauma as a child, then you may be holding on to that hurt and that pain and you not even realize that you're doing it. If that's so, then you are going to keep acting out of that pain. You are going to keep acting out of that experience because the trauma has caused you to kind of make like a pothole in your own life, and you're stuck in this pothole and you need to learn how to move out of it. So number 2 is you broke it. It is now time for you to fix it because life keeps repeating the lesson for you. Learn the lesson so you can move on. Number 3. Yeah, letting go sometimes is easier said than done. If you determine that you are going to let go, so you have determined that you are going to let go, you need to break it down into very, very small baby steps, like nano steps sometimes, right? So when you look at what has gone on, let's say you need to forgive somebody. Okay, so first of all, you need to realize that it's someone that you need to forgive. Hey, JJ, thanks for sharing your first day on Periscope with me. Welcome to the community. So if it's someone that you need to forgive, right, you need to really and truly sit down and think about who it is that you need to forgive. Like, you understand, I have a problem with forgiveness. I get mad at people very easily. It seems like everyone's always ticking me off. I tend to it's easier if I go by myself and leave people alone. Okay, so why are you angry at people? What have people done to you? Well, the better question is, what person harmed you? What person made you decide that you didn't want to deal with people anymore? Okay, so now you know who the person is. Well, what happened with your conversation, with your actions with that person that made them do something that resulted in your deciding that you no longer wanted to deal with that person, which blossomed into, I don't want to deal with people. So once you figure that out, and then you can say, oh, it was this one incident that happened on this one particular day, and this is what was said. Are you really sure that that's what was said, or is that what you heard? Is that what you believed the person to mean, or were they very explicit in their language? Sometimes we can mishear. If we're already upset, then we hear what we think we want to hear, or we hear what we believe, right? Your interpretation of what that person said, because sometimes what we're hearing is in fact our own hurt and pain. It is not what the other person said at all. And if there were witnesses, they were like, no, girl, that's not what she said. She didn't even try to go there. So now you're mad about something that didn't even happen. Or sometimes we're mad at people because we've placed a rule, an unspoken rule, and we're holding people accountable to this rule, but they don't even realize that they're breaking the rule in the first place. Right? So, no, not just talking to you, just talking to folks in general. You know, when someone asks a question, just kind of explain it for everybody. So we need to really and truly look at, why are we upset? Good morning. Hey, Faye, how are you? So glad to see you this morning. So we have to ask ourselves, you know, why are we upset, or why are we sad, or what's going on? Why did we get broken? Good morning, everybody. Number three is, perhaps you are going through this, or you're still dealing with this, because you are the person that is supposed to share or witness. You are the person that is supposed to share or be a witness. So what is the takeaway from this one? That you have absorbed, you have learned, you have absorbed the lesson. So when we use the example, you have ingested, you have digested, and now it is time for you to share the lesson, for you to articulate what you have learned. So share or be a witness. I'm a breast cancer survivor. So I do many talks about what it's like to be a breast cancer survivor. I share my story. Now, my story may be similar to a lot of other ladies' stories, or it may not, but it's my story. But my story is being shared so that other ladies will know, hey, she went through it. She has come out on the other side. She is now well. She is now walking in her purpose. She is now doing what she wanted to do. Great. She's encouraging me. She's inspiring me to go on and live my life and be everything that I thought that I could be. Now, someone else may come on and have a stage that was higher than mine or lower than mine, but their stories are equally as important. I might share about being married. I might share about having lost a child. All of those types of things. Whatever it is, life gives us various lessons. Now, I was a particular age at that particular time. I ain't trying to tell y'all how old I am. When my thank you. When my daughter passed away. Well, that was a devastating moment in my life, but through God's grace and mercy, I was able to get through that. So for someone else who has lost a child, be it that it was an accident or it was kind of like an on purpose kind of thing, like someone was assaulted them, it doesn't matter why your child passed. It doesn't matter how your child passed. Many times it's the fact that your child is no longer here, that they are now deceased. That pain can kind of stay with you a certain way if you don't deal with it. So when I talk about that, I am talking yes, God is so good, that there are certain things that we've been taught. There are certain lessons that we can share with other people so that people don't stay stuck. Not everyone has the same type of personality. Some people have a predisposition to depression, and if that's the case, then those people need that support group more so than others that may be able to kind of do the research for themselves or find the resources for themselves. So you never know what's going on in your life, that though it looks like it is a dark spot, it looks like you are in a ditch, you are in a rut, that you have hit your rock bottom, and perhaps you have, but you never know how that is going to turn out to be a shining light for someone else. You never know how you are going to become that beacon of light. You think about that lighthouse out there in the middle of nowhere that helps guide the ships. Perhaps you are going to become that lighthouse for someone else. So be encouraged, stay encouraged, learn your lessons, and be able to share. You needed to hear this. You know what? You never know. This isn't even 5 p.m. because this is a 5 at 5, and I just kept getting this prompting that said, you need to do it. You need to do it right now. I live stream my testimony so many women tell how strong I am. but I give all the glory to God. Yes, yes. And we know that that's where we get our strength from. We understand that it is because of God's grace and mercy that we are able to do all that we do. Hello, Sanders. Thank you so much for inviting your followers. Thank you so much for inviting them to the community. There are so many things that when we take time and we sit down and we think about what are the lessons that we have learned, right? So we tend to visit our senior members, our elderly, like our grandmothers and our grandfathers, and ask them, I'm talking about like kind of writing a book, that we ask them, so what could you share, right? Because they've lived such long lives. But what we forget sometimes is that people have lived a certain life and may not be as old, but they still have a certain amount of wisdom. They still have a certain amount of lessons, a certain number of lessons that they can share with other people. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. And I am just doing what it's on the list. I am just doing what number 4 is that I believe that I am supposed to do this. And when I don't do what I am supposed to do, I feel some kind of way. I don't feel like I am doing my best for that day because God gave me this type of personality. He gave me this certain amount of boldness or confidence or assuredness or this knowing that I have that this is what I am supposed to do. And I know that it's not my own wisdom. Do you understand? Is this list a book or something? Nope, not a book. Just me. Just my 5 at 5. And it's usually the hashtag, remember 5, the word at, and then 5. So I'll be back on at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Okay, for another 5 at 5. This 5 at 5 was just placed on my heart this morning, and I wrote it all down, and I said, okay, let me go and share. Alrighty? So, yes, ma'am. 5 p.m. Eastern time. Oh, thank you so much, Faye. Yeah, because I see that you've been on quite a few times. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. So number 4, and I'm going to pause for just a moment, which is why I kept saying this next one. I want to pause because you guys know what I do. I see a lot of people come in the room, and I want to introduce myself because I want to make sure that people know who I am, and that is just, just not happenstance. So my name is Dr. Angela Chester. I'm a pastoral counselor and Christian empowerment coach in the cities of Long Beach, California, and Hampton, Virginia. A pastoral counselor is someone that is able to assist you with your mental health, so I can deal with things like anxiety, depression, PTSD, premarital counseling, grief counseling, all of those types of things. But I'm also an ordained minister. So I work in several different capacities with what I do, what God has placed upon my heart to be my life's work. I love what I do. I do motivational speaking and all of that because I love sharing what God has for us, to be able to look at scripture, be able to absorb it and say, well, how does this affect my day-to-day life and how can I be the best person I can be? Oh, yes. Please see me when you get home. I would love to see you because I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, yes. That'd be a happy day. Yay. Because Janet was just here a few weeks ago and it was so nice to be able to see her as well. I'm a best-selling author. I love being able to share information. So being an author, of course, seemed just a likely step for me. I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I'm a breast cancer survivor. I'm the host of Modern Living with Dr. Angela that you can find on most podcast platforms like iHeartRadio, iTunes, Spreaker, TuneIn, all of that. But many of you also know me from my show on 99.1 FM Atlanta, and that's Daily Spark with Dr. Angela, where we enlighten, inspire, and empower you to be your best self. So for those of you who tune into that as well, thank you so much. If you want to know more about me, you can visit drangela.chester.com. drangela.chester.com. So number 4. What is number 4? Why do I keep having to deal with this? Why am I still going over this and over this? Because of number 4. It is your purpose in life. God has given you a vision and you have to walk in that vision. You have to keep doing whatever it is that you need to do. Now, the question is posed as though this is a horrible thing. But sometimes the question isn't a horrible thing. It's just a moment of contemplation. So why do I keep having to deal with this? Why do I have to keep doing this? Because it is your purpose in life. So why do I continue to talk about anxiety, depression? Why do I talk about marriage? Why do I talk about relationships? Why do I talk about entrepreneurship? Why do I talk about the things that tend to affect people? Because God has given me this purpose. Like I was saying, I have this personality. I don't have a fear of getting up in front of people and speaking to people about what it is that I know, about what I have been educated on or what I have learned along the way. Because that is my purpose. Because God says, hey, I want you to get out and encourage people. I want you to get out and motivate people. I want you to be able to let people know that I am here for them. Though the world may seem crazy, I am still here for them, and that there are people who really and truly do care about their well-being, their spiritual well-being, their physical well-being, their emotional well-being. I want people to be their best self. What does it mean to be your best self? When you take a moment, we were talking before earlier, saying that you need to assess yourself. Assessment isn't always a negative thing. And so many times we have words that get associated with good or bad, or positive and negative. I love that there are certain cultures that take the perspective of nothing is good and nothing is bad, that things are either positive or negative. As the sun is the daytime and the moon is the nighttime. You need both things in order for there to be this juxtaposition, in order for there to be, right? In order for there to be this balance, we have to have a sense of balance in our lives. So what is your purpose? If you are outside of your purpose, you may be working in something and doing a great job at it, but you don't have a true sense of happiness, that deep down inside, that gratitude that you find like, I'm so happy to go to work. I'm so happy to do what I do. And perhaps your pay isn't what it should be, but that's okay with you because you are happy to go to work. You are happy to do whatever it is that God has placed upon your heart to do. Hey, the French guy, thanks for sharing your first day on Periscope with me. Welcome to the community. So when you work in your purpose, and I'm not the only person to say this, I'm not the first, I'm not going to be the last person. Thank you so much for my hearts. I'm not going to be the last person to say this. When you work in your purpose, when you work in, or you are walking along your life's path, however you may have heard that explained to you, when you are working in your purpose, then there are certain things that don't really feed into your joy, but they are nice things to have, right? So I may do a speaking engagement and get paid my fee, whatever my fee is for wherever it is that I need to travel, or whatever the expectation. Am I working for, hey, how are you? Am I doing like a 30-minute talk? Am I doing a 2-hour presentation? Am I being an all-day event? Whatever that fee is. But sometimes you decide that you're going to go and you're going to talk to this boys and girls group and you're going to do it for free. Or you're going to travel 2 or 3 hours and you're going to show up and you're going to donate your time to this nonprofit because it is simply the right thing to do. When you are walking in your purpose, when you are living out your true path of whatever it is that you are supposed to do, the compensation isn't the important thing. The sharing of the information is the important thing. Doing what you believe that you have been purposed to do is what brings you the joy. Why? Because you understand the vision for your life. You understand that this is bigger than you. It is not just about you, that it is about the community. It is about the people, and that they need whatever it is that you are supposed to share. So there's so much that we have to do in our lives today in order for us to propel ourselves from where we are to the very next step. Last but not least, hello. Last but not least is number 5. So why am I the only one who seems to be dealing with this? Why am I still going over this? What are the lessons? What is the perspective? And no more. So the first few that I gave you are no more. Get to about the middle and it is lessons. You have to stay as positive as you can. So we're not trying to, walk through life and fake the funk. It's not about pretending. It's not about being delusional. But yes, we do want to stay positive. And I say many times in my scope that I am a glass half full type of person. I have the ability to see the silver lining in most things, right? So people say, oh my God, I can't believe it's raining outside. Well, without the rain, how do we have the green grass? How do we have the beautiful flowers? Right? Oh my goodness, I can't believe that I'm stuck in this snow. Okay, well, without the snow, how are we supposed to have the ice caps melt and be able to fill our lakes and streams, and we be able to go and enjoy those beautiful camping trips that we want to do later, right? It's all about the perspective. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that I am stuck in traffic. Yes, you can't have a beautiful rainbow without a little rain. Exactly. So it's always about our perspective, about trying to have a positive perspective. I'm sorry, but I can't take the complaining. I don't like the complaining. It hurts my spirit. It wounds my soul, and I can understand when people are trying to work on themselves. What I do is totally different. People have to vent. That's a different thing. I'm talking about like friends and stuff. That's like, girl, and this happened. Okay. So, did you break it? Maybe you need to fix it. You know what I mean? It's all about looking at the perspective. The negative may fall and the positive man wins. If you continue, the negative person will fail more often if they stay in their negativity. Yes. If they cannot find something positive to take out of it because they stay stuck in that rut, because they keep digging the ditch, because they don't understand that they have the resources, they have the tools in order to get themselves up out of the rut, if only they would utilize their tools in a different perspective. Now, I know that some of you have seen that meme where there's a guy who's trying to look over the fence, right? And he had a ladder that was there. And instead of putting the ladder up against the wall and walking up the ladder to look over, he disassembled the ladder and tried to turn it into something else. And it's like, that's craziness. Don't disassemble your tools, right? You know what I'm saying? It's not about disassembling the resources that you already have. It's about properly utilizing the resources that you have. Use what you have, because many times what you have is already proper to a certain extent. What you have is probably going to get you from one level to the next level. It may be at that level that you need to utilize a different tool. Right? So with a spoon, you can do mighty and powerful things. With a fork, you can do mighty and powerful things, right? It's just, how are you using that fork? How are you using that spoon? So we think that, oh my goodness, I need a knife in order to survive. Do you? Or could you utilize that fork? Could you utilize that spoon? It's all about how you look at what you have been given, right? So number five is, last but not least, is motivator. Maybe you are going through this because you are supposed to motivate and encourage someone else. So again, remember, we were asking that question and we were posing it as though it were a negative question, because number 3 says, well, you're supposed to share and be a witness. Well, when we look at number 5, the question is being posed as though it is a positive. So why are you going through this again? Because you are supposed to be the motivator. Why do we as human beings keep going through the things that we go through? Because we are supposed to motivate others through one of our purpose on being here is to motivate. That's what I believe is one of the reasons why I'm supposed to use Periscope, because I am supposed to motivate people through what they are going through. I am supposed to encourage you. I'm supposed to let you know. I am supposed to encourage people and let them know that there is light on the other end of the tunnel. Just keep going through it. One of the things that I explain to my clients in our initial consultation is that I am not going to help you go under your problem. I'm not going to help you go around your problem. I'm going to help you go through your problem. Why do we want to go through it? Because we have to learn the lessons that life is trying to teach you at this particular moment. If you keep ignoring it, the lesson is going to keep repeating itself. If you try to go under it as though it doesn't exist, if you try to take an alternate route, recalculating and try to go down 10 more blocks and make a right to go around it, you stand the potential, you run the risk of coming to that exact same thing just at a different point in your life. But if you figure out, well, what's going on? What is this bump in the road? What is this ditch? What is this hole? Or what is this blockade? If you figure out what's going on, then you'll be able to not only deal with this situation, you'll be able to help someone else deal with their situation, and you will be able to avoid the situation should it come around in the future. Part of the reason why people keep knocking their heads or keep coming back around to the same problem, issue, or concern is because they don't understand why it happened before. Right? So if you understand that you were in a bad relationship before because you chose someone who was an alcoholic, who was a closet alcoholic, but the signs were all there, the red flags were all there, but you chose to ignore them, but you finally get out of that relationship, right? Yay! I'm out of that relationship. But then it's time for you to choose someone else. And you do the exact same thing. Why? Because you ignored the red flags from the last relationship. You didn't learn the lesson. You didn't say, oh my gosh, is that what was happening? We don't want to pick that type of personality again. God bless them, but we just don't want to pick that type of personality to be in a relationship with. Until that person gets help, they are not well. They are not able to be in a proper relationship. If you don't learn that lesson, then you're going to keep repeating it over and over again. Motivator. You say, hey, you're not broken, you're not busted, you're not less than, you're not worthy of love. You are worthy of love. But is there something that happened to you? Like I was saying before, right? Is there something that happened to you that caused you to believe that you were not worthy or that this was all you deserved? Did something happen? If that happened, then let's fix it. Let's move forward and let's be encouraged, because we can definitely go from being busted to being blessed. We can go from troubled to terrific. We can go from broke to billionaire, right? All of these wonderful phrases that people come up, their marketing teams come up with, right? But we can go from one thing to the next thing if we know that we have the proper tools and we're able to utilize them correctly. Well, everybody, that is my 5 at 5 for the day for this particular time period. Thank you so much for coming on early with me today. I truly do my 5 at 5s Friday, 5 p.m. wherever I am. I happen to be on the East Coast right now, so I will give you 5 tips on a particular topic at 5 p.m. Eastern time today. Thank you so much, Sanders. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'd love to hear a 5 at 5 about forgiveness. Ooh, that is a good one. Forgiveness, huh? Got you. It's 10:56. Okay, so you must not have been on earlier. So I said the reason why I'm on is because this just kept kind of pulling on me, kept nagging on me that I needed to get this particular one out. And someone earlier said, oh my goodness, I needed that. So that's why I'm on. I'd love to hear if I forgive him. Okay, so when we talk today, listen, one of the things that I have learned is that when God prompts me to do something, then I just do it. Because there's usually someone who says, yeah, that was for me. And you never know if they're able to get on later. So you just learn to move. That's also a good thing about being self-employed. Time doesn't kind of work the same as it does when you have that 9 to 5. Well, you guys, thanks so much for being on with me. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys coming on. I will see you later on at 5 p.m. Eastern time. God brought me to your life today. Yeah, you just never know. Oh, thank you so much for that, everyone. You just never know why God does what he needs to do. And listening to it live sometimes is better than listening to the rebroadcast, because you feel the energy in a different way. So I'm so glad that you guys were able to get on with me. Thank you for all of my, oh, you are so welcome, Mary. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks you guys for being on with me. This is, before I sign off, I do want to encourage one last time. I like to call them my little Perry ushers, those 3 little dots down there. If you are not following me, please take a moment to follow. If you have not shared out, please take a moment to share out. I will talk to everyone again today, 5 p.m. Eastern Time for Friday 5 at 5. Alrighty, you guys. Now, don't laugh, because you guys know I have a horrible, horrible time getting off Periscope. So here we go. We're going to get it. Alrighty, everyone. Have a great day. See you later on today.